And then I learned what regression analysis was, right? Wow, and that was the key to discovering everything. You know, you just put the data in and you got the two independent variables and it explained it, and then you understood it. And but at the time, yeah, I mean, literally, I would have colored pens and rulers to plot my graphs, literally operating that way. But, and then I remember when I started my business, you know, which was in 1975, I had an HP 67 calculator. So you put the little thing in and you type in and you got the regressions, and that's where it started, right? But yeah, for you and for me, I guess, you speak for you, I then began to understand that we could put things in equations, and we could put our thinking in equations. And algorithms, they were called equations then. They're algorithms now. They're basically the same things. And then you could have the computer start to think in parallel with you. And that's when it began. So I would say it the opposite way, though. It wasn't that that thinking led me to have an idea of meritocracy. It was that I wanted to have an idea of meritocracy for other reasons I'll explain, that then made me use the algorithms to help me do that. In particular, look, in order to be successful in the markets, you have to be an independent thinker who bends against the consensus, because the consensus is in the price. So, and also nobody's good enough to know themselves that they can all the answers. So, you know, I learned by having, you know, the shit kicked out of me a fair amount of time. I learned a certain amount of humility, and then I knew that I didn't have enough of the right answers. So I wanted a bunch of independent thinkers. And so when you get independent thinkers, then how do you get past that? And you know, you're going to want to have an idea meritocratic process. And then what I found is that algorithms allowed me to do that, because rather than think about what decision we were going to make at any point in time, we would think about what the criteria for making the decisions would be. And then if you write down those criteria, and make them clear, and then put them in the form of an algorithm, then you could test how they would have worked over history. And that allowed idea meritocratic thinking. And we also had ways of getting past it. I'm sure we'll get into those. I don't want to hijack that by explaining those ways. But that led us to use algorithms to have an idea meritocracy, to make better decisions than any individuals could. And that's been really the key to the success. It's in the work principles here, and it's one of those things that I really want to emphasize, because I think we're now in an era in which, when we talk about open source and such things, we're now in an era where idea meritocratic thinking can be then systemized to produce better results than any individual can produce.